Good day, everyone. Welcome to lecture number 23 of Theory of Computation. And in this particular lecture, we will be discussing about the pumping lemma for context-free language. And we will also discuss the closure properties of context-free language. Basically, we have already discussed about the pumping lemma for regular language. Okay. And we know that pumping lemma for regular language is used to prove that a language is not regular. So before discussing the pumping lemma for context-free language, we should know what is a context-free language. So a language is a context-free language if there exists a context-free grammar for that particular language. Or we can say if there exists a type 2 grammar. And another way of telling that a language is context-free language if there exists a push down automata for that particular language. Okay, so we have not discussed push down automata yet. We will discuss it after lecture number 24 probably. So what I am saying that a language is context-free language if there exists a context-free grammar for that language, or the particular language is recognized by a push down automata, then that language is called a context-free language. In other words, we can say that a language generated by context-free grammar, language generated by a context-free grammar is a context-free language. Okay. So if you have any language, let's suppose this is the language. W belongs to 0, 1 star such that W is of the form 0 raised power n, 1 raised power n. So this is a language, and you have to prove that this language is a context-free language. So how will you prove that a language is a context-free language? One method is you will design a context-free grammar for this language. You can easily design a context-free grammar for this particular language. For example, I can write it 0 S1 and S gives epsilon. So this is a context-free grammar for this particular language. So we can say this particular language is a context-free language. Fine. Now, if there is a question, the question is you have a language. So you have some language, and you have to prove that the language is not context-free language. Then how will you prove? You will prove this by using pumping lemma for context-free language. Okay. So what is a pumping lemma? So the pumping lemma, so we have already discussed pumping lemma. We know it that we have a pumping lemma, and we have discussed this pumping lemma for regular language. So you can watch that particular video where we have discussed the pumping lemma for regular language. Okay. So what we were telling in terms of regular language, we were saying that if a language is regular, let's suppose a language is regular, then there exists a pumping lemma constant key. And for all strings, S, for all strings that belong to this language, and the length of this string is greater than or equal to this K, this pumping lemma constant K, then this string can be divided into 3 parts, U, V, X. And this string, as we have that every string can be divided into 3 parts, and in such a way that this V can be pumped n number of times. So that means a substring can be pumped n number of times. What does that mean? If this string belongs to the language, then u v raised to power I x also belongs to L. So this is what is called that the v, this particular substring can be pumped n number of times. Okay, so that was the pumping lemma for regular language. So likewise, we have a pumping lemma for context-free language. Okay, and in context-free languages, the pumping lemma is that if we have a language L and that language is context-free language, then there exists a pumping lemma constant P. Okay, there exists a pumping lemma constant P, such that for all strings that belong to this language, context-free language, and the size of this string is greater than this pumping lemma constant P, greater than or equal to P, then this S can be split into 5 substrings. Okay, U, V, W, X, Y. So this S is concatenation of these 5 substrings Q, V, W, X, Y, such that V and X, so these two, V and X, can be pumped n number of times, can be pumped n number of times. What does that mean? It means that if this string belongs to the language, then this particular string U, V raised power I, W, X raised power I, Y can be pumped how many times? N number of times. N can be very large number. Okay. So this is the pumping lemma for context-free language. So let me write it in clear words for context-free language. So we have to discuss pumping lemma for context-free language. Okay. So what is pumping lemma for context-free language? It is saying that if L is a context-free language, so L is a language and it is context-free language, then there exists a pumping lemma constant P. Pumping lemma constant P, such that for all strings, strings means this, such that for all strings that belong to this language, that belong to this particular language, L language, and size of this string is greater than or equal to P, then following properties will hold. Then following properties, or we can say then S can be divided, then S can be divided into 5 substrings, into 5 substrings. And what are those 5 substrings? One substring is U, another substring is, so this is first, second substring is V, third substring is W, fourth substring is X, and fifth substring is Y. So this S can be divided into 5 substrings such that S is concatenation of these 5 substrings. Okay. So we can say every string that belongs to this language, this context-free language, such that the size of this string is greater than this pumping lemma constant, then this string can be divided into 5 substrings. And this string such that following properties hold, such that following properties will hold. Properties will hold. And what are the properties? The properties are first, that the first property is that the length of VWX is less than or equal to P, this pumping lemma constant P. This is the first property. Second property that will hold is length of V and X is greater than or equal to 1. And the third property that will hold is that this V and X can be pumped n number of times. So for all I, U, V raised to power I, W, X raised to power I, Y also belongs to L. Okay, so this is the pumping. Here we are pumping the substrings, inserting the substrings, and the new string that will be generated will also belong to this language. Okay, so this is the pumping lemma for context-free language. So let me repeat it here again. If L is a context-free language, then there exists a pumping lemma constant P, such that for all strings that are part of this language, that belong to this language, and their size is greater than the pumping lemma constant P, then this string can be divided into 5 substrings U, V, W, X, Y, such that S is a concatenation of these 5 substrings, and following properties will hold. 1, size of V, W, X will be less than or equal to P. Size of V and X, combination of V and X will be greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1, or we can say greater than 0. And for all I, U, V raised power I, W, X raised power I, Y belongs to L. So that means we can pump. So here it is saying we can pump V and X repeatedly. Okay. So this is the pumping lemma for context-free languages. And this pumping lemma is used to prove a language is not context-free language. Pumping lemma is used to prove a language is not context-free language. And also you have to remember another point is that reverse of pumping lemma for context-free languages is not true. So it was same for regular languages as well, that the reverse of pumping lemma for regular language is not true. Okay, so what is the reverse? Reverse means that if some language holds these properties, is that language regular? Is that language context-free language? No, not always. Okay, so the reverse of pumping lemma is not true. So your homework is to prove why pumping lemma is correct. So we have already proved the pumping lemma for regular language. So likewise, you have to prove why pumping lemma for context-free languages is true. Okay. So this was about the pumping lemma for context-free languages. Now let us discuss an example. Let's take a language and let's prove that language is not context-free language by using pumping lemma. Okay, so let me rub this and let me use a new page. So let's take an example. So before taking an example, you have to remember the steps to prove a language is not context-free language using pumping lemma. So let's see what are the different steps that you should follow whenever you have to prove a language is not a context-free language. Step 1. So what is the first step? The first step is you have to assume language is context-free language. So when a language is context-free language, what does that mean? It means it will obey all these rules. So for all these strings, so for all the strings in this language that have length greater than p, this will hold. Pumping lemma will hold. Okay. So if we have assumed the language is context-free language, what does that mean? It means there exists a pumping lemma constant. Assume a pumping lemma constant p. So you have to assume a pumping lemma constant p. Okay. So what does that mean? So when we are assuming a pumping lemma constant p, it means that all strings that belong to this language L and size of those strings is greater than or p. So that means those strings will be pumped. Okay, so it will hold true for all the strings, not only for a single string, but for all the strings. Okay, so then your next step is, the step 4 is find one of the suitable string. Find some suitable string S whose length is greater than or equal to p. So since the length of this string is greater than or equal to p, what does that mean? It means this string can be pumped. Okay, so it means that this string can be divided into 5 substrings. So there may be multiple possible ways of dividing this string into 5 substrings. There may be multiple possible ways. Okay, so it is not possible to have a single division. So for example, you have a string, let's suppose 0 raised power p, 1 raised power p, 0 raised power p, 1 raised power p. So this is a string. So you can see the size of this string is greater than p. So you can divide this string into 5 substrings u, v, w, x, y. So what are the different cases? So the case 1 is you can divide this string, for example, v, w, x, v. So let's say it is like this. Okay, let's take p as 5. Okay, so it will be this string. Let's say we are dividing u, v, w, x in such a way that v, w, x contains only these ones. Okay, or another way is v, w, case 2 is v, w, x contains only zeros, for example. Another case is, case 3 is VWX contains both zeros and ones. Okay, there may be multiple cases possible for dividing a string into 5 sub-strings. Fine. So this is the fourth step, that you have to find some suitable string S such that the length of this string is greater than the pumping lemma constant. Then the fifth step. What is the fifth step? Divide S into 5 substrings. Divide S into 5 substrings. There may be multiple possible divisions. So there may be multiple cases, or we can say there may be multiple possible divisions. So this is the fifth step. Then the sixth step. What is the sixth step? The sixth step is that you have to show that, so since this string, this is a context-free language, this string belongs to this language, so that means this string will be pumped. So this u v raised power I, w x raised power I, y, it should also belong to this language, but we will show that for some this does not belong to L. So if this does not belong to L for some I, but our pumping lemma was saying that it should belong to this language. Okay, but we will show that this string does not belong to the language. So we have reached to a contradiction. So when we have reached to a contradiction, we will say that our assumption was wrong. And what was our assumption? The assumption was L is a context-free language. Okay, so you have to consider all possible cases of this S. Cases means multiple possible divisions. Okay, so you have to consider all possible ways that S can be divided. S can be. Okay. So as I said here, there may be multiple cases, case 1, case 2, case 3. And for all these cases, all the possible cases, you have to show this one. So for all possible cases, you have to show that for some I, we cannot pump the string. Okay, for all these cases, if we are able to prove for all the cases that this holds, then only we can say that our assumption is wrong. However, if at least one case obeys this as well, this means that u v raised power I, w x raised power I, y belongs to L for all I, then even for that case, we cannot say that our assumption is wrong. So for saying that our assumption is wrong, we have to prove for all the cases that this does not belong to the language. Okay, so what I am saying here, I will write it here. So you have to show that none of these cases satisfy all the three conditions of pumping lemma. Okay, so show that none of these cases, so whatever possible cases are these, you have to show that none of these cases satisfy all the three conditions of pumping lemma, or we can say we have to show that this does not belong to the language for some I. If we are able to prove it, if we are able to show it, then we can say that we can conclude a contradiction. So there is a contradiction. Because why there is a contradiction? Because if it is a context-free language, then all the three conditions of pumping lemma should be satisfied. But we will show that none of these cases satisfy all the three conditions of pumping lemma. So there is a contradiction. So that means our assumption was wrong. Okay, so these are the steps that you have to follow while proving a language is not a context-free language. Fine. Now let's take an example and let's prove in that example why that language is not a context-free language. So let me write an example and we will follow these steps. So the example is prove L is equal to W belongs to 0, 1 star. Okay, this particular language is not regular. Sorry, is not context-free. Context-free language. So we have to prove it. So what is this language? This particular language. So this particular language means that every string in this language, so every string in this language has two parts, the first part and the second part. The first part is same as the second part. Okay, so that is this particular language. Now let's prove. So what is the first step? Assume L is a context-free language. So we are assuming that L is a context-free language. Second, what is the second point? Second point is assume there exists a pumping lemma constant, and let's take a pumping lemma constant P. Okay, what is the third step? So you can see what was the third step. The third step was all strings of size greater than or equal to P, those strings can be pumped. So let's skip this step because it is not required. So you have to find some string whose length is greater than or equal to P. So let's take a string, this particular string. You have to choose this string carefully. Okay, so let's take a string, this one, 0 raised power P, 1 raised power P, 0 raised power P, 1 raised power P. So does this string belong to this language? So you can see here. So let me write it here. So this string, you can see this string has two parts. So 0 raised power P, 1 raised power P is one part. And 0 raised power P, 1 raised power P is second part. So if you consider this as W, this will also be W. So this string is of this format, WW. So that means this language belongs to L. Okay, this particular language belongs to L. Fine. So that was the third step. What is the fourth step? Divide S into 5 substrings. So we have to divide this S. So the fourth step is divide S into substrings. So we know there are multiple cases. So let's take those cases. The first cases, so we are dividing it into 5 subcases, U, V, WXY. So these are the 5 substrings, and you should keep in mind that size of VWX should be less than or equal to P. So what are the different cases possible? Let's assume, so for simplicity, let's assume P is equal to 5 for simplicity. So then this string will be, so the string will be 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1. So case one will be, so let's say this VWX, it belongs to this part. So since the length of this part is P, so if VWX is of this part, so that means it can contain only what? Zeros. So let's say VWX. So let's say this is part 1, this is part 2, this is part 3, this is part 4. Okay. So let's say VWX belongs to part 1. Okay. So that means, so what does that mean? It means both V and X contain zeros. Okay. So now both V and X contain zeros. So that means if I am saying VWXY belongs to L, then UV square WX square Y, it should also belong to L. Now you can see I am increasing one V and one X. So that means I am increasing zeros here. So if I am increasing zeros here, will this part become same as this part? No, because here zeros will be more than the zeros here. So this particular string won't be of this particular format, W.W. So it won't be of this particular format. So that means this particular string does not belong to L. But our pumping lemma is saying that this should belong to L. But we have shown for case 1 that this particular string does not belong to L. So in case 1, we have a contradiction. Okay. But we have to prove the same contradiction for all the cases. What is case second? Case second is, let's consider this part VWX, it belongs to part 2. Okay, let's say VWX belongs to part 2. So that means, what does that mean? It means both V and X contain ones. Okay, so that means if we pump, so this is part 1, part 2. Actually, this is W and this is second W. Okay, so if we pump V and X, so it implies we are pumping one is in first substring. So the first substring here is W. So that means first W. We are pumping ones. So when we are pumping ones, the new substring that will be created, for example, this substring, this one. So this substring will have more ones in first W than second W. So that means first W won't be equal to second W. What does that mean? That means this string does not belong to L. Okay. And so that means it is a contradiction to a pumping lemma, because pumping lemma is saying that this should belong to L. So here we have a contradiction. Okay. Likewise, there are other cases. The other cases is case 3. Case 3 means, let's suppose it belongs to part 3. So case 3 is, so you have to prove case 3. It is same as case 1. Case 3 means VWX belongs to part 3. So it is same as case 1. So you will prove it by doing the similar approach. Likewise, we have case 4. Case 4 means VWX belongs to P4. P4 means part 4. So it is same as case 2. So you will see a contradiction here. You will also see a contradiction here. And what are the other possible cases? Case 5. Case 5 is, let's say VWX belongs to part 1 and part 2. What does that mean? Part 1 and part 2. Part 1 and part 2 means it is here. So if my string is like this, okay, part 1 and part 2 means the string is here, VWX, in between these two. So you will see that by pumping V and X, it is VWX. By pumping V and X, that means we are pumping the symbols in the first part, first W, and we are doing nothing with the second W. So that means by pumping this, first W won't be equal to second W. Okay, first W won't be equal to second W. So that means this does not belong to L. Okay, so here again we have a contradiction. Okay. Likewise, we have case 6. Case 6 means that VWX belongs to part 3 and part 4. This is same as case 5. So you can prove it using case 5. Then we have the last case, that is case 7. So let's say case 7 is VWX belongs to P2 and P3. What does that mean? So let me write it here. So this was our P1, this was P2, this was P3, and this was P4. So now I am saying VWX belongs here. Let's say it belongs here, VWX. So it has some part in the first W and second part in the second W. Okay. So in this scenario, if I am pumping V and X, so I am writing 2 here. It can be 3, 4. So if I am pumping V and X, so that means I will increase here. I will increase ones. So it means I will increase ones in first W and zeros in second W. Okay, so the new strings that will be formed, will there be W equal to W? No, because in the first W we are increasing ones, and in the second W we are increasing zeros, so they cannot be same. So here we are increasing zeros, but the first W zeros will be constant, it won't change. But in the second W we are increasing zeros, so this string cannot have 2 equal parts. Okay, 2 equal parts means 2 same W's. So here again we have showed that this language does not belong to L. So here again we have reached to a contradiction. Okay, so is there any other possible case? No, there is no other possible case. So for all these cases, case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5, case 6, and case 7. So for all the cases, for all the cases, we have shown that the first two conditions are satisfied, but the third is not satisfied. The pumping condition is not satisfied. That all the three conditions are not satisfied. So this implies we have a contradiction. So our assumption was wrong. So what was our assumption? Our assumption was that L is a context-free language. So that will imply L is not a context-free language. Okay. So what is L? The L was W.W such that W belongs to 0, 1 star. Okay. So this was our language. So you have to keep in mind that this particular language is not a context-free language. Fine. So I hope you have understood the mechanism of proving a language is not context-free using pumping lemma. So now let me give you some of the examples that you should try as your homework. Okay. Example 1 is, or we can say the examples are, prove the following languages are not context free using pumping lemma. And what are the languages? The first language is L is equal to W belongs to A, B, C star such that W is of the form A raised power n, B raised power n, C raised power n, where n is greater than or equal to 1. So this is language 1. The second language that you have to prove that a language is not a regular, a language is not context free is L is equal to A raised power m A raised power m, B raised power n, C raised power n, such that n is greater than or equal to m, which is greater than or equal to 1. So I am writing here. So you have to prove this language is not context-free language, but we have a language this A raised power m, B raised power n, C raised power n, such that m comma n is greater than or equal to 1. This particular language is a context-free language. So your assignment is design a context-free grammar for this language. So language 1, let me write another. L2 is equal to A raised power n, B raised power n, C raised power m, such that m comma n is greater than or equal to 1. So both these languages are context-free languages, and you have to design a context-free grammar for both these languages. And you have to also tell me what is the intersection of L1 and L2. Okay, so these are the three sub questions that you have to do. What will be the intersection of these two languages? Okay. Let me come here again. The third part that you have to prove is that, or the third question that you have to prove is that L is equal to A raised power M, B raised power N, C raised power M, L raised power N, such that M comma N is greater than or equal to 1. You have to prove that this language is also not regular. Okay, so these are the things that you have to prove, or these are the problems that you have to do, these three and these three. Okay, so that is your homework for this particular lecture. So as I have said, that in this particular video we will be discussing about the decision problems and the pumping lemma, but let me stop it here. Let's discuss about the decision problems, or sorry, about the closure properties, so in our next lecture. So the closure properties of context-free language and decision problems for context-free languages. We will discuss these two topics in our lecture number 24. Okay, but at the beginning I said that in this particular lecture we will be discussing about the closure properties of context-free language, but let's discuss that in our lecture number 24. Okay, so this was all about the pumping lemma for context-free language and how to prove that a language is not context-free using pumping lemma. So attempt these questions and try to answer all these questions. So this was all about this particular lecture. Let's meet in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye.